I am making a Generator deck profile. I tested this. I was waiting till I was able to test it like I was Sunday when I had a bunch of friends come over and we had a little tournament. I ended up getting second in it because I won against Shadal, Invoke, Danger for Hire, and Heroes, but only lost to Mystic Mind because of side reasons. But after testing this deck, I realized it's really fun now that I managed to get a hold of Lopters, which is why it took this so long. But the deck's just really fun, and people don't like fighting it. None of my friends will fight me if they know I'm playing this deck. So, moving on to the main deck, play 3 copies of Lopter, Shadow the Generator bosses. Lopter is a level 4 Fire Fairy with 1500 attack and defense that has the effect of, during your opponent's turn, that all Generator monsters gain 1000 attack and defense. However, all generators share the effect that you can only control one of that specific one. And it also has the quick effect of being able to tribute one generator. I don't actually know if it can be or fairy. Let's see. Okay. You can tribute one generator monster, especially on one level 9 generator from your deck. They all also share the same effect of each effect is a hard once per turn. So you can't just go have Lopter tribute itself, bring back one of 2 Hellas, then Hella tributes a thing, bring back Lopter, and Lopter tributes some other thing. But Hella's effect is you can tribute one generator or zombie monster to bring the echelon a zombie or generator monster from your graveyard. I play 1 copy of Develgus. You can tribute one machine or generator, especially on a machine or generator from your hand. 1 copy of Nidhogg. You can tribute one generator or worm monster to negate a monster special summon and destroy it, but it can only negate summons that don't start a chain. So example, Cyber Dragon, Synchro, Xyz, Link, Pendulum. Those kind of summons it can stop. But summons of fusions it can't because the spell card starts a chain. Then moving on to something else that's debatable with this deck, since all level 9 monsters are bricks when they're in your hand. But 3 copies of Utgarda, Generator, Boss of Delusions. Utgarda can contribute 2 generator or rock monsters. Target 1 card in the field and remove it from play. Then I play 1 copy of Mardell. Mardell is the searcher for the deck. Whoops. That was not supposed to happen. I accidentally hit the stand. Then I play 1 copy of Frody. Generator Boss of Swords. Frody can tribute any number of warrior or generator monsters for cost. Also for cost, target monsters your opponent controls, destroy them, and then your opponent gets to draw 1 card for every monster destroyed. Which actually works for a card I'm planning on playing my side deck called Heavy Slump. Where you can use this, destroy your opponent's field after baiting out any negates they had. They have at least 8 cards in hand, so Heavy Slump makes them put their entire hand back to the deck, and then they draw 2 cards. Then, what I think is the absolute best monster in the deck after Lopter, 3 copies of Hard Generator Bosses of Storms. He has the effect of, if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand except during the draw phase, so this does not work like Stage does, then you can make them send 1 monster from their hand or field to the graveyard. And then it also has the effect you can contribute 2 generator or spellcaster monsters for a generic negate. So your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect, negate the activation, and destroy it. And then the last debatable one that's actually been useful for me, 1 copy of Naglfar, Generator, Boss of Fire. I decided to play this card at 1 because of how Lopter can summon an attack position, so you can actually make use of his 31 attack points. As well as the fact that it's also good against decks like Fluffle or other decks that do mass destruction, so that they actually can't just blow up your entire field. where you can just go, there you go, Dark Hole. Lobster attribute self summon Naglfar. Naglfar's effect destroys itself, or another generator you don't need, like a token, to protect every other card on your field. And then that's it for the monsters. Moving on to spells, I play 2 copies of Generaider Boss Quest. Boss Quest lets you reveal 1 boss monster from your hand. So, for example, reveal Naglfar. Then you can take 2 Generaider cards from your deck other than Boss Quest, as long as they have different names from each other and the revealed monster, so in this case, Naglfar. And then you add those to your hand, and then the monster revealed, Naglfar, gets posted to the bottom of your deck. Then I play 3 copies of Generaider Boss Stage. Boss Stage is a fun card because of how its effect to summon a boss monster is not once per turn, but its effect to summon tokens are. So if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, even during the draw phase, you can activate this card's effect, summon a boss monster from your deck in defense position. And then if you summon it during your opponent's turn, you get as many tokens as possible. And then I play 3 copies of World Legacy Monstrosity. This card either lets you summon a level 9 monster from your hand, or lets you summon 2 other level 9s in your deck when you control 1. Summon them as long as they have different types and attributes from each other and the one you targeted. However, the monsters you summoned with it are destroyed during the end phase. And that's it for the spells, surprisingly. I thought about adding Pot of Avaris to this deck because of how I keep going through Loppers too fast. Then moving on to the traps, I play 1 copy of Boss Room. This card is the deck's answer to, or is the deck's searchable answer to cards like Ash or Valor. Ash, Valor, Ogre, any kind of card that your opponent will respond to with a Generator effect. Its effect is, during either player's turn, if your opponent uses a card in response to the activation of a Generator effect, you can activate its effect to discard a card. That their activated card becomes each player draws a card. So your opponent, you activate Stage's effect, they go Ogre. You chain this, and the Ogre's effect is each player draws a card. Then I play 3 copies of Generator Boss Fight. Boss Fight lets you activate a stage from your deck or graveyard, and then your opponent gets to draw a card. So this card actually is what lets you activate stage multiple times in a single turn, without having your opponent actually no, is the only way because you're activating the stage. But it's just useful because if you activate stage contributed to activate a Generator Boss Monsters effect, you can activate this, summon a new boss monster. And that's all of the Generator cards I play in the main deck. Everything after this is just Floodgates, so 3 summon limit, which I've actually thought about taking out because they hurt me when I actually have all the resources to kill, but until then it's actually useful. Then 3 copies of Solemn Warning, 3 Solemn Judgment, and 3 Solemn Strikes to stop things that could be harmful to me. But in the event you don't know, Warning lets you pay 2,000 life points to negate a monster's summon or a card that would summon monsters. Solemn Strike negates the special summon of a monster or the activation of a monster effect. And then, whoops, Judgment that just negates the activation of a spell, trap, or a monster effect. The only downside is, of these 3, Judgment and Warning can hit fusions, but Strike can't because the other 2 can stop the fusion card. Moving on to the extra deck, I play 3 copies of Jormungandr. I'm still working on the extra deck. This is what I'm currently playing. So it could be bad, but I honestly like it. But Jormungandr is Slight for the Sky Dragon for this deck. It gains 1,000 tech for every material it has. Quick effect, use 1 material. Each player draws a card and then attaches a card from their hand or field to its material. So this is how I get rid of summon limit on my turn. But it works well with Horror because you activate its effect, each player attach, and that triggers Horror's effect, so they have to send a monster. Then I play 1 copy of number 92, which just helps to deal with my opponent's fields when they aren't able to get around it at all. 3 copies of 9 Lives Cat, protecting it protects level 9 or monster special summon from the graveyard by being targeted or destroyed. Also, the fact that's 3,300 defense points. Number 9, when I already know I'm in a winning position anyway. 3 copies of Inner Blathnir to deal with my opponent's hand. 3 copies of Calamities when I don't know what I'm fighting. And to finish off the extra deck, 1 copy of Earth Slicer. Using any number of materials to destroy cards on the field, and then if it kills a monster in battle, that monster becomes a material. So that is it for my Generator deck profile. If you have any ideas what I can do to improve the deck, feel free to comment below. Thanks for watching.